Hi everyone, my name is Katie Sullivan from Advanced Body Image in Darwin. We're a cosmetic and laser clinic and we specialise in a lot of different things, but cosmetic tattooing, permanent makeup is one of the things that I'm most passionate about. So, microblading versus cosmetic tattoo. Now, I have been tattooing in lots of different methods for the last 17 years, and something that I'm seeing an enormous amount of today, which makes me really sad, is the number of people that are coming in and saying, can you help me? I've had microblading done is horrendous. I'm sure out there is possibly somewhere magical that does microblading, but I'm yet to see it. And it is a form of tattoo. So people have to understand that any method of implanting pigment or colour, whether it's using a bamboo stick and natural iron oxide based pigments from rocks and things and implanting it into your skin, is actually a tattoo. So microblading is a tattoo as well. And in the last couple of years, this whole microblading term has just gotten a little out of control and people are a little unclear as to what it is. Now, I love my job so much, so I want to help everyone, and I've held off doing this little post for a while because I thought perhaps people would think that I was downing one thing and upping another. I love cosmetic tattooing and hair stroking eyebrows. I have done thousands of them. I would say tens of thousands of them in the 17 years that I've been tattooing. I originally trained in Australia. I have done every course available to me in Australia and America. I'm on a certified board of cosmetic tattoo professionals with the SCPC in America. I'm very highly skilled and trained, and I love my job. So I love tattooing, and when clients come in and see me and say, I really want you to perhaps give me better eyebrows, which is often what microblading is used for, the big thing for me is how can I help you feel good about you on Sunday morning when you wake up in the morning at 9 o'clock and you've got no makeup on. How can we make you naturally look better without making you look like you're completely painted on? And so hair stroked eyebrows through tattooing, cosmetic tattooing, has always been a fantastic solution for that. Although it's a very unregulated industry, which is disturbing, but it is. Hopefully people have gone and attended some of the courses that I've gone and done, and hopefully the people out there doing cosmetic tattooing have more of an idea than a lot of people that are doing microblading. Now, to prove my point, the difference with different methods of cosmetic tattooing is I have 13 different cosmetic tattoo machines. I always use machines. I feel that the machines penetrate the colour more evenly into the skin. So human hands are just not designed to perfectly evenly distribute colour through the skin, and that's why when tattoo artists are fantastic and they actually shade things through the skin, they're using them like paintbrushes essentially. The machine's implanting the colour and a human hand is able to do that shading. When it comes to something like microblading, you're using literally, it's like a pen and it's got a little blade on the end of it, or a row of needles that look similar to my finger in the shape of a blade. So essentially you're cutting the skin at the same time as pushing colour into the skin. The colour doesn't hold, and not only does it not hold, sometimes it will hold, and I can show you stacks of photos, holds incredibly unevenly. It leaves a residue of pigment within the skin that's very hard to deal with, and unfortunately it's often used with stencils, and stencils are just, no one's face is a piece of paper, so no one can be effectively using a stencil to give you nice even eyebrows. So what happens is you get hard angles to your eyebrows, you get these really big, thick, trendy angled eyebrows that might look nice if you're 15 or 20 and you're heading out on the weekend and you've got a fully painted face. No 55, 65-year-old plus woman needs to have big, heavy, dark, solid eyebrows. The one thing that kind of tipped me over the edge was a client that I saw this morning, and I just thought that is so wrong what's happened there, and it is incredibly hard to fix and correct. And of course I want people to walk around with amazing eyebrows, not patched up ones where we've tried to make the best of a bad situation. But check this out, I jumped on eBay the other day, not telling anyone to get on eBay and buy things. You have no idea what you're even buying. But this is why microblading is so much cheaper than cosmetic tattooing. And sadly, you don't even know what you're getting or what's in the pigment, for instance, where it's coming from and whether it's even sterilised or not. So for $4.50 Australian dollars from China, this arrived today. And this is my microblading kit that everybody's using around the countryside at the moment. Now, undoubtedly there's probably places that are using better quality products, and there are microblading courses that people can go and do. If you're looking at doing that, really research the results people are getting long term with their microblading, and where did they do their training, where did the product come from. This is exactly what I got for $4.50 from China. So if you have a look in the bag, you can see that the pigment's leaking all through the bag. I haven't opened it yet. These are disposable pigment caps. None of them are witch sterilised. I don't read Chinese, so I don't know what's actually in the product, and it's not actually I mean, maybe it's not even Chinese, I don't know. Ignorance maybe at my end. But it's also not a sealed gamma sterilised product. So essentially you're putting something into your skin. God knows what's actually in it. China. It says that they're metal autoclavable. They're not. That is plastic. I'm sure I could chew it if I tried. And these here are what a microblading tip is. So this is, again, microblading is a form of tattooing. It's nothing different to putting colour into the skin. It's just a different method. So if you have a really close look here, and you can see it's a row of tiny little needles all butted up against each other in a row. There's actual no consistency to the fan on these needles into the angle that they come out, and they vary actually to the other needles that were in the packet as well. So the practitioner takes, and I won't unpack it because I don't even know where the needle's been, and I don't actually trust that it's been sterilised. It says gamma sterilised. There's no actual colour changing devices on there, so we don't know whether it has been or not. This would sit into the end of the device and then get dipped into that jar of pigment and then get scraped across your skin, and that is what microblading is. So I have seen some beautiful things with microblading when the tattoos are just done, when the microblading's just been finished. It looks magic because it looks like you've got a pencil in your hand, and it looks like you've just gone through and created these little tiny lines. Can they hold in the skin, and do they hold long term? I'm yet to see it. I haven't seen it so far. I suppose the biggest thing for me is, like I said, correcting things I don't love doing for other people. I've never had to correct anything that I've done myself in 17 years. But the lack of training, the lack of regulations, and the lack of people actually, understanding, like the general public don't know what to understand and what to ask for when they're having these treatments done. So you need to be really clear and feel as though being pushy is okay to say to people, I don't like what you've done, or I don't like the shape that you're planning on doing. Make them draw it on for you before they actually do it if you're going to go ahead with microblading, and make sure that you know exactly what it looks like prior. They should take a photo of that so that there's no argument as to what it looked like before and what they chose, and exactly what it looks like afterwards. You need to see sterile sealed packets of things that are coming out of, and it would be nice to read English on the container so that you know what the product is that's actually going into your skin as well. And the big thing when I do eyebrows is, once I've drawn them on for people, and part of my procedure is I get you in, we talk about it, we put the anaesthetic on, we take the anaesthetic off, we sit up and we draw them on freehand. And the reason we draw them freehand is your face is different from side to side, from top to bottom. Everybody's is different. So we work with your natural brow. We work with the points that we want to enhance with your natural brow and your face to make you look, more comfortable, whether it's just a matter of adding more brows in there, or whether it's a matter of reshaping things completely. And we draw that on and we get them perfect. And that means me saying to you, can you please tell me, do you want them, pick them to pieces? Do you want them higher, lighter, darker, longer, shorter? Everything you think of, you need to voice. And the lady I spoke to this morning that I'm about to start a correction procedure for said to me, I wish that I knew what to ask. I just didn't know what to ask, and I felt a bit frightened. It's like going to a hairdresser and saying, I want it like this, when they think it should be like that. But the difference to this is that although microblading often doesn't last well, it doesn't last well evenly, the colour does last in the skin, and that means that you can be stuck with that in the skin for a long period of time, if not permanently, depending on what type of pigment it was used and how they've done the treatment. So yes, I would love to tattoo your eyebrows. I love tattooing. I tattoo eyebrows, eyeliners, extended eyeliners, lips, full lip colours. I've been doing colour correction for years, for scars, for depigmented skin, for vitiligo, and also for territory women that have had their breasts removed with mastectomies. Dr. Carson sends a lot of people into me for that, and I love doing it. A lot of the plastic surgeons do as well, and it's something that I'm very proud to offer to territory women. I have an enormous amount of experience with tattooing. But if you do choose that you're wanting to go down the path of potentially a cheaper option like microblading, and it usually is a bit cheaper, in saying that by the time you pay for second treatments, you've probably paid the amount that you would have for one treatment to be done properly in the first place. Just be careful about what's being used. Be careful that you know the colours, the pigments that are going in, and be careful that you know that everything that is being used on you is the best quality that it can be, and that you're not long term going to end up with health issues because of the types of pigments and things that have been used on the skin. I hope I've answered questions. I love feedback. If you want to message me, go for it. We do free consultations if you're interested in having anything done. If you want to hear about other topics, message me because I quite like doing this. Have a good afternoon, guys. Thanks for watching.